What's going on, guys, and welcome to this very special video where I am holding in my hands something that I never thought I'd ever have in my hands. This is the final beta of Dee Dee Planet, one of the most famous canceled Dreamcast games of all time, and one I've personally been searching for years now, and let me tell you, it was very hard to track down anyone involved with this game. If you search this game online, you will find just about no names at all. So to actually track down this game or track down anyone involved with it was quite the feat, and I'm happy that I was able to do it finally. I actually was able to contact the person who I'm not going to name for legal reasons, but I was able to contact them last year, and unfortunately due to the pandemic, he was actually going to send me this game last year to back up and preserve, but unfortunately the pandemic got in the way. Japan Post was not shipping to the United States for over a year, and finally at the beginning of this month they resumed their shipping service to the US, so I was finally able to get my hands on this Dee Dee Planet beta. So I am just kind of awestruck right now that I am holding this disc right now. But if you don't know what Dee Dee Planet is, let me give you a bit of a summary of what this game is, a little bit of a background on it. So I'm sure you've heard of a game called Choo Choo Rocket. Choo Choo Rocket is probably one of the most famous Dreamcast games of all time. And what you might not know about Choo Choo Rocket is that it was intended by Sega to be the first game in a series of online games, and Dee Dee Planet was to be the next in that series. So obviously Choo Choo Rocket ended up being the only game in the series, so you can't really call it a series, but had things gone differently, Dee Dee Planet would have been the sort of spiritual successor to Choo Choo Rocket. So when it ended up happening to this game, well, it was finished. It was completed and ready for the presses, but unfortunately they found a bug in the online mode just before its release, and it had to be canceled because of that. But actually what I've been told by the person I've been talking to, the guy that sent me this disc, is that, if I actually understood him correctly, is that the bug was actually on Sega's side, on the server side, and not in the game itself. Which is interesting because if we manage to get a reverse engineered server for this game, there's a chance that that may not be an issue anymore. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can play this game online one day. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much about the background. I think that gives you a pretty good summary of the game. But let's just get right to the gameplay. Alright, so here we are in the actual game. This is Dee Dee Planet. So I played a few rounds of this already, just to kind of get the idea of the game. So basically it's kind of like those old 2D tank games where you have weapons that you can shoot at an arc towards other enemies on a 2D plane, and the environments are all destructible and constantly changing. It's really, really cool. It took a while to actually get used to, but because the controls are a bit different than your typical video game. But once I got used to it, it's actually really fun. But anyway, here are the different modes. I'm not actually sure what the difference between Game A and Game B is. Possibly different landscapes. I'm not 100% certain though. There's a movie viewer as well, which I assume lets you view movies from the game. I don't know what movies there are other than the intro movie, which you've already seen. So I'm not sure, but there's also options which I don't think really has a whole lot in it. Credits, vibration on and off, and audio, stereo, or mono, I assume. But yeah, not a whole lot of options. We'll just go into Game A. As you saw previously, there was also an option for offline and online game. Obviously, we cannot play it online yet, so hopefully in the future, maybe Shuoyuma will be able to get servers up and running for this game. Since this was kind of a spiritual successor to ChuChu Rocket, the theory is that this game would have a similar server as well, but we don't know that yet, so I don't know. We'll see what the future has to hold, has to in store, has to hold, whatever. Anyway, 2 players, 3 players, or 4 players are all options. You can play with all CPU players. We'll do 4 players just to have a whole bunch of action going on. Oops, pressed the wrong button there. So you can enter a name here, which really is kind of pointless if you're playing offline. I mean, I guess if you're playing with more than one human player, then it's good to know who's who. Alright, no save. You actually have to wait for the CPU players to enter their name as well, which they all just call themselves CPU, of course. Alright, so how many matches? You can pick up to 7 rounds. We'll do 3 rounds. Match number 1. So you have a whole bunch of different characters you can choose from. All have a different combination of weapon and the type of mobility. So, say for example, this first guy here, he has legs, so he can walk around. This guy has even more legs. So they all kind of move a little bit differently. I think this one here with the kind of skirt on is the same as the one with all the legs. I'm not 100% certain, but they kind of move similar. There's this guy as well. I actually have not played as him, so I don't know if maybe he's on sort of a bouncy thing, or maybe that's a wheel, I'm not sure. There's also a jetpack guy, which is this guy here, or this guy, any of the ones with the jetpack looking thing on the bottom. Those are really hard to control. This is actually the first guy I picked when I played the game for the first time. The jetpack is really hard to control. I don't recommend it for the first time player. But I'm gonna go with probably this guy. Also, the weapons. This is a missile, as you might be able to tell. This is sort of a spread shot missile, or airstrike, you might call it, which shoots 3 missiles instead of 1. There's also this, which is kind of a ball that you throw, and the cool thing about the ball is it actually bounces, so you have 3 different opportunities to hit the enemy with it, whereas if you use a missile, it'll just hit and explode. So there may be another weapon as well. I think maybe this one? I'm not sure though. But yeah, we'll go with this guy here. I like the legs. They move around pretty easily. And I do like the ball thing that you throw. So 3 different zones. You got the gel zone, liquid zone, and block zone. I think there may, again, be more zones in the other game type. But again, I'm not sure. So we're going into the block zone. Probably my least favorite of the zones, just because it's kind of hard to navigate. You can't walk up a wall, so if you want to get past a wall, you need to blow it up. So the basic controls of the game, basically you press up and down on the D-pad to either go farther or shorter with your attack. And you can also move left and right to change the direction of the attack. or your projectile, I guess I should say. So as you can see, it's very, very similar to those classic 2D tank games. But to move around, you use the L and R triggers to move back and forth. Actually doing pretty well here. Occasionally things do happen. There are weird, random things that will happen on the map. I have no idea what happened to that one guy. It looks like he turned into a ghost. I just got hit. There's also a spaceship that comes around every once in a while and drops... I'm not sure what you'd call them. Power-ups? Items? I'm not sure what the sheep does. I know there's a mushroom that the spaceship can drop. And if you grab the mushroom, you'll kind of wear it as a hat. It's weird. I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be a negative item or a positive item. I'm not sure. It did make me kind of move a little bit weird. At first, I thought it might be some sort of shield because it's this giant mushroom above your head. I thought maybe it would protect you from an attack, but it didn't seem to. So I'm not sure about that, but this is a really fun game. It's very simple in concept, but I've been really enjoying it. At first I was very confused because I used the jetpack guy right off the bat, and I shouldn't have picked him. I mean, I had no way of knowing, but he's really awkward to control. The only thing you can control about the jetpack is the strength of your launch. I don't even think you can control the direction at which you take off, so yeah, it's a bit odd. So I would only suggest that probably for pro players. The CPU player constantly walks into my projectiles. I would have missed that guy, but they just walked right into it. The CPU players are kind of dumb, to be honest. They're constantly walking into walls, and I've found if you get really close to a CPU player, they won't know what to do. They won't try and shoot you because they can't shoot really close. I mean, you can't either. So if they have no way of actually hitting you, they'll just stand there and do nothing. So yeah, they don't put up a whole lot of a fight, really. I actually don't believe that I've actually lost yet. I've won every match. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I think I did lose one. Oh, timeout. That's the first time that's actually happened. But I was only playing with one CPU player before, so obviously the matches with 3 CPU players are going to last a bit longer. So it gives you a little bit of a summary at the end, hits and points and whatnot. There's also a black hole up at the top right there. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a stage that you can go to. I think a black hole is something or an event that can happen during a game, but I'm not sure what it does. I've yet to see nearly everything in this game, but I love how every time the stage is different. It's all randomly generated, and even as you're playing the game, the stage changes. So it's very dynamic. And obviously anytime you hit the land with a projectile, it changes, it explodes, it moves. So it's really cool the way that the land moves around and changes. I think the baseball attack, or whatever you want to call it, is definitely the best one in the game. Alright, something's happening. This is really weird. This game is a bit weird. But in a good way. Yeah, see, I have no idea what's happening with that, so... Apparently those guys were grabbed and then brought back down to the map as ghosts or zombies? I'm guessing they're dead? Okay, I almost hit myself with that. A little bit farther. I like that it does show the dotted lines to show the path of the projectiles. So if you miss, you can make a slight adjustment for the next one. Hopefully hit them. Yeah, there we go. My first win. Actually, I don't know if I won that last one. It timed out, so I wasn't paying attention. I might have won the last one. I definitely won this one, though. I got a crown. Total of 886 points. None of the other CPU players even got close to that. I'm guessing the difficulty of the CPU players doesn't change at all throughout the game. This game was created as primarily an online multiplayer game, so the offline is probably more practice than anything, although you can play local multiplayer, obviously. So without an online mode, local multiplayer is likely going to be the thing you want to do. What is that spider? There is a spider. I probably want to avoid that. I'm guessing. Can I shoot it? I can shoot it. Okay, so if you shoot it, it goes away. I'm not sure what would happen if it actually touched you. I don't know if I want to know. I think the gel stage... I think this is a gel stage? I think that's what it's called. Whatever this one is my favorite stage. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I don't want to be touched. Oh, shoot. Well, I didn't die. I most likely took a point of damage. As you might have been able to tell, you can only take 3 points of damage before you die. There we go. Walked into it again. There are some other stats at the bottom of the screen there. I haven't really looked at those too much, though. 962 points total. CPU 2 got 50 points, the other two got 0. There's the summary here. Apparently I got 2 stars. So that's cool. So I might do one more match here. I don't want to do too much here. I may actually upload a pure gameplay video of this later, just so you guys can see the game and hear the game without my commentary over it. Some of you may not like hearing my voice. Alright, so I'm gonna pick a different guy this time, just to show you what the different ones are like, although the other CPU players obviously chose different ones that you could see anyway, but I'm actually gonna go with this guy, because I've never actually played as him. I could go with him in the baseball, but I think I'll do a different weapon this time. Let's do the triple missile. I do like the fact that this game is entirely in English as well, since this is a Japanese game. But, of course, there's not a whole lot to read anyway. There's very little text other than the level names, obviously, the stats, and the menu. It's very much a visual game. Alright, so this is the liquid stage. Not really a big fan of the stage, to be honest. Because there actually is land, but you can't see it unless the water level goes lower. As you can see next to the orange guy, you can see a tiny bit of land. But it's a bit confusing. Okay, so I am kind of bouncing. Yeah, so he's on a pogo stick, basically. Which is interesting. I can't say I'm a big fan of it. I'm not sure what advantage a pogo stick would have over having actual legs. But it's interesting. I'm about to get hit. Oh, just missed me. Okay. Can that spider actually hurt you? I mean, I imagine it must be able to, but it's way up there, so I suppose if I had the jetpack, I could get up to him, but... So as you can see, when you shoot the triple missile, it goes up as one missile and then splits apart into 3 once it gets to the top of the arc. So it's a pretty decent weapon. I'd say I don't like it as much as the baseball. But it's quite good. And am I dead? I think I'm dead. Oh, I see. So that's actually what happens when you die. The claw comes down and grabs you. But you can still... Okay, it's sort of like in some of the Bomberman games, where if you die, you get to still throw bombs from the sidelines. Whereas in this, you just come back as a zombie robot, and you can actually still do some damage. So that's pretty cool. I like that feature. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here, guys. There's not a whole lot else to see. It's a very simple game, as you can see, but it's a lot of fun. I am really enjoying this so far, and I would love to play this online one day. So hopefully we'll actually get some online servers up and running for this game. But anyway, guys, if you guys want to check out some Dee Dee Planet, I will be backing this up and putting it online in probably just after I finish this video, so look out for that. I'll post it on the Dreamcast Talk forum. I'll put a link to that in the video description, so just keep an eye out there, and I will post a download link to it once I have that available. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.